Good to see you. This is Global News Morning. I'm your buddy Bill, and this is also your buddy. This is Matt Lee here to talk about some real estate issues and a bit of a fun one. We're talking about
Yeah,
modernizing older homes. Matt, good morning to you.
yeah,
We're talking around 50, 60 years old.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think that we get into the homes that 1940s to 1970s, 80s that either you're selling or you're looking at purchasing, and you just want a little freshen up. And it's one of these things that how do we do some modernizing without getting into a lot of expense? And let's see where we can go with that to work with a budget.
There, of course, are some qualities with an older home that you want to retain, but there are some things that you should modernize. And I think the first one that I can think of is carpets.
Yeah, shag is coming back. You never know. Maybe it kind of comes around. But we do see that age that has had shag carpets. Sometimes it's an allergy thing. Sometimes it's a fashion thing. If the carpet has been kind of worn, then we might want to replace it. But there's some really good carpet cleaning companies in town that maybe you start there and you say, okay, well let's look at the budget and say, do we want to try to have it clean and see what kind of shape it comes out in, or do we just want to replace it altogether? And it's really whatever you feel is best, and it depends on the style.
And some older homes have a certain scent that you don't want. And I think a lot of that scent could be in the carpet.
That's right. I mean, it's over time, right? I mean, people that had lived there before might have had pets, and I mean, if we have allergies, or there could be anything. It's one of these things that you might want to just start fresh, pull the under carpet up, and go from there.
It's important to update the light switch, the plates.
Yeah. So we're going into, back in that time, we actually, there was black switches. We had black switches, we had cream colored switches. You'd have, sometimes you'd have funny colors, like it was almost like the refrigerator and the stove. You just kind of like that olive green
Yep.
and yellow stuff, Nowadays it's very clean and crisp and it's white. The other thing is that LED lights as well are in. We're trying to minimize the usage of the electricity. So LEDs help, but they need a certain switch. So if you're going to put LEDs on a dimmer, they have to be on an LED dimmer. So you want to make sure that you're switching these out for the proper usage and also the fashion look. So the decor look.
What about walls?
Well, in an older home, sometimes things get dinged up over time. Whether your people are moving out and you don't know how many people have been in and out of the house, and I'm sure that kids have grown up there over time, and you might want to have a look at the walls before you do any painting. I think that painting goes a very long way in a house to one, make it your own, two, make it kind of come into today's time and whatever time that is. But I think you walk around, you take a look at the dings, and have somebody just come in and use the spackle, the filler, and touch those up before, because you can make the wall look brand new if you do that before you paint.
And I think it doesn't matter the age of the home, brightening up the rooms is very important.
Yeah. So I would say use as much natural light as possible. I would say, depending, the dimmers are great because you can use the bright lights down to a lower light so that you have that option depending on, what you're feeling at that time. There's a new sonotube. It's almost like a dome that goes on your roof, and it kind of comes down and it looks like a light, but it's actually just strictly natural light, and they're amazing. I've seen them in houses, and you think there's a light on, and when you're looking around, you realize that that's actually a skylight.
Hmm.
And they're very cool. So it's kind of a tube that comes down and fits into an area, and there's something to add the natural light.
What do you mean by painting old light fixtures?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. So you'll find these antique pieces that maybe somebody wants to put a unique chandelier in their place, and maybe they think the brass is not in right now or gold is not in, but you can change the color on it, and you can, it can be an art project. It's almost like a Pinterest type of thing, but you can paint something. We used one that was a green color, so it's almost like copper has turned. You know, that green color that when copper gets into a exterior weather, you know, it turns to a green color. You can use that as an example. So you could change a color of an antique light. I would not try to do it with anything that's more modern because it's just not going to look right. But
Right.
these old heavy pieces, you can make changes to them to fit your house, and you can use paint to do it.
Fresh coat of paint, night and day. And you can apply
Yeah.
that to the walls and the exterior.
Yeah, that's true. So, you know, if you're looking the exterior, you're going to touch up trims, you're going to touch up depending on the siding, you know, you can do different things. I mean, if it's an aluminum siding, you could paint it. You know, you can change that. Some people are painting brick. Um, that's a personal preference. I don't know how long paint lasts on brick right now. I mean, that's one of those ones that you want to talk to a painter about that more than myself. I would be interested to see. We've done that over the past couple of years. We'll see how long that withstands our minus 25, minus 30 weather. But it goes a long way to modernize it for sure.
You're talking about curb appeal, which is also, if it's an old door, maybe replace the door.
Yeah, so the door is a big thing. I mean, to me, it's if you have today's modernization of a door is probably like a three-quarter glass, maybe a frosted piece. If you have a smaller window in the front, or if you have no window at the front, so you open up the door, when you walk in, you close the door and it's dark. I think that is very tough. I think that if you look at it and you say, maybe I need a little more glass in this door, you could frost it so therefore it's still private. You can change the color if it's a metal door and you say, you know what, maybe I want to do something different. I want to do yellow, or I want to do black, or I want to do red. You know, changing it just gives that accent piece. So I think that is one of the first things people see when they walk up to your house. I think it needs to be in good shape.
I love the old hardwood in older
Yeah.
homes, but sometimes they do need to be given a freshen up.
Yeah. So the trick is, I mean, I've heard this from people that refinish floors, is basically when you walk into a house and you like the floors, and we're going to use oak strip as an example. You walk in, you see the oak strip, and you say, I would really like to refinish this floor. If you don't see any nail heads, then there's a good chance that you're going to be able to refinish it. If you've seen the nail heads in spotty spots all over the floor, then there's a chance that those floors have been refinished probably twice or more, you know, and that they're probably not going to be refinished again. So I would say that when you're looking at these things, I would basically go in, have a look at it, maybe speak to a professional about that. But I would say that, you know, if you don't see any nail heads throughout the house, there's a good chance you're going to be able to refinish those floors at least one more time.
And we can talk about staging. Nothing more unappealing than seeing furniture from the 60s and 70s. I'm not talking about cool Art Deco furniture.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that there's inexpensive ways of doing this if you're looking at selling a house, and if you're looking at modernizing the house to live in, it's a little bit different. If you're staging the house, getting ready to sell, and you're thinking, well, I'm going to a new house, maybe I'm going to get a new couch to fit that house, you can actually buy slips, and they're a couch slip that basically you can pick a different color. They're stretchy and they go over the couch that is existing. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money on that side of the staging part, you can get this, you know, whatever color slip you want to go over top of the couch, and it will bring that to life a little bit, and it will change the color of it. Makes a big difference, and it's a very inexpensive way to help stage the house when you're getting ready to sell. If you're moving to a new house, you know, that's a choice. You might want to get a new couch at that time.
Always great advice. We thank you so much, Matt Lee. You be well, be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Bye-bye.
Real estate tips brought to you by Matt Lee of Royal LePage.